What are your neopronouns? Are you a person, a place, or a thing? If you don't know, or you have no idea what I'm talking about, worry not. The New York Times will guide us through this new insanity. Then we'll check out Refinery 29 so we can take a peek inside into the psychosis of a person who actually uses such pronouns. It'll be fun. It'll be weird. But it'll be interesting. Let's get into it. Back when my grandfather was alive, he was a big fan of the New York Times, and he lived in Argentina, but every Sunday, he was very excited to see the big fat New York Times. If he saw the New York Times printing this sort of thing, I don't know what he would think. But without further ado, let's begin. A guide to neopronouns. Thank you, because a guide I need, and I bet you do too, because this is psychotic nonsense. Are you a person, place, or thing? We have good news. A personal pronoun is a form of speech that stands in for a person or group of people. She is having opinions online. They are fighting in the comments, and of course, as in the Prince song made famous by Sinead O'Connor, nothing compares to you. Non-binary pronouns as well, often the singular they and them, have become widespread. They're not widespread, just a minority of crazies. A 2019 Pew Research study found already that 1 in 5 Americans knew someone who uses non-binary pronouns. I don't believe that stat. It's probably one of those stats that says 1 in 3 American women are raped in college. So, fake news. And then there are neopronouns. A neopronoun can be a word created to serve. A neopronoun can be a word. A neopronoun can be a word created to serve as a pronoun. That makes no sense. But we'll start again because I'm being confused here. A neopronoun can be a word created to serve as pronoun without expressing gender, like sie and zer. None of this makes sense, but it makes sense that it doesn't make sense. A neopronoun can also be so-called Noun-self person, in which a pre-existing word is drafted into use as a pronoun. I made a video about this a week or two ago about tree-self people. Noun-self pronouns, there you go. Bunself, and kittenself. Others refer to fantasy characters like vamp, vampself, princesself, faer, faeself, or even just common slang like Innit, Innits, Innitself. These people need help. I'm not trying to be rude, but they don't live in reality. How prevalent are neopronouns? Not very, yet. None of this is prevalent. It's just a very boisterous minority on Twitter that are making people think that, hey, America agrees with this, but in reality, nobody agrees with this. A recent survey of pronoun use among 40,000 LGBTQ young people by the Trevor Project found that 1/4 of them used non-binary pronouns. Participants were recruited from late blah blah blah. Most said they used the common pronouns like he, she, and they. Just 4% say they used neopronouns including sie, zer, and faer. They're talking about 4% of 40,000 LGBTQ. It couldn't get more specific than that. So, is this for real? No. Yes. And around any leading edge behavior online, trolling, hijinks, and bad faith collide indistinctly. For those unfamiliar with the culture surrounding neopronouns right now, it is likely impossible to distinguish between what's playful, what's deeply meaningful, and what's people being mean. How about people trying to help? I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to play with you. I'm being serious here. This makes no sense. You are not in reality right now. Many neopronoun users are dead serious and are also part of online communities that are quick to react swiftly to offenses. Yeah, they're called snowflakes that react like that. Little soy boy snowflakes. They are deeply versed in the style and mores of contemporary identity politics conversation. I tried reading this. I couldn't make sense of this. If you want, stop the video, read it. Maybe you can make sense of it, but I'm doing my best with this article, which already makes no sense to me. A popular Twitch streamer goes by Andy VMG recently apologized after jokingly tweeting that her pronouns were bad as fuck. That's funny. You shouldn't have apologized. And apologizing is a big mistake that a lot of people make when the Twitter mob and the woke mob come after them. And then they apologize and it always sounds the same. Look, it wasn't meant to mock people who use the neopronouns. However, I have since educated myself on the matter and spoken to people who use neopronouns, and I see why what I said was hurtful. Well, you sir, it wasn't hurtful. It was a joke and it was funny. These people. Saying you don't understand neopronouns isn't an excuse to be transphobic and invalidate someone's identity. When someone says something or asks a question because they don't understand something and you perceive it as invalidating you, the problem lies with you, not with the person who doesn't know the how are they supposed to know if they don't know? You, if you want, could educate them, or you could have a discussion with them, and then you could realize that you were wrong all along and you need help. And no one's being mean because they're saying, hey, what's going on? That's not being mean. That's trying to bring you into reality. Many people who use neopronouns don't use just one set. Oh, they're neopronoun fluid. They select a handful and show off their collections on websites like neopronouns.xyz. Alright, this is a joke, and it keeps going. I'm not gonna keep going, but this is a joke. They collect the neopronouns. Come on, let's move on to Refinery 29 because it gives us an insight. I'm not gonna read you the whole thing, but it gives us an insight into what's going on inside the mind of these people. The Joy of Gender Expression by Hannah Rim. Since the pandemic began, I've changed my Instagram bio 12 times. Red flag. 12 red flags, actually. Have I ever? I don't think I have a bio on Instagram. A year ago, it read, Lil Andro idiot in coveralls. Lipstick emoji, rainbow emoji, cartwheel emoji. She, her. Of course. I wrote this because it was true. It explained who I was and how I expressed my gender. It felt like a comfortable way for me to describe myself on the internet, and then the pandemic hit. So you changed your gender? I mostly stopped wearing coveralls and definitely stopped wearing lipstick. Instead, I lived in sweatpants and crop t-shirts. When it was cold, I added a sweatshirt and fuzzy socks. Aww. Looking in the mirror, I saw a version of myself that had never really existed before. A me who stayed inside 24/7 with a makeup-free face and a paint stained on my high school swimming sweatpants. A me who stopped putting effort into my appearance. A lot about my life changed all at once. I left Brooklyn for the first time in months in the pandemic to stay with my parents in the suburban home. Instead of going to an office or to see my friends, I suddenly didn't have anywhere to go or anyone to see besides my immediate family and immunocompromised wife. What? You're a dude? And so I learned into what... this threw me off completely. Hold on. Alright, so you're a woman who's married. Okay, I got it. I suddenly didn't have anywhere to go or anyone to see besides my immediate family and immunocompromised wife. And so I leaned into what felt natural and comfortable. I bought a lot of sweatpants and leaned to do a headstand. I watched my roots grow out and my red hair. You're a ginger? Oh, no, you're a dyed ginger. You're not a real ginger. And my red hair faded to blonde. I occasionally left my parents' house, but the farthest I went was to visit a nearby pond where a pair of swans guided their newly hatched chicks from shore to shore. Alright, let me get to this important part. Alright, I think this is it. I remember waking up one morning last July and seeing that my previously chin-length curls had grown past my chest, and my once broad shoulders have softened without access to my typical exercise routine. I stared at my reflection and saw a kind of femininity that made me deeply uncomfortable. I briefly considered shaving my head. Another red flag. Instead, I changed my Instagram bio. Just a gay trying to get through. She, her. These people they're living for others. They're living for how others see them. They're not living for themselves. And that's the sickness. That's where the sickness lies, I think. They're too concerned with others instead of being concerned with just being. They want to perceive me as such instead of just be such. I wasn't alone in my discomfort, as we've been pushed inside and other queer and trans people have found themselves losing touch with their gender expression. You see what I'm saying? I haven't put any thought into my gender expression. I feel disconnected from it since I barely see anyone. Your gender expression has nothing to do with anybody else but you. And this is the problem. This is the problem with these people. And then this is what I'm saying. It's not real. Of course, the Z, Zer, neopronouns, that's another dimension. But these trans folk, it's not about them. It's about others. And that's the problem. But we're not going to, because it could be seen like I'm making fun of this person, but I'm not. I think they need help. So let's move on. Oh, this is fantastic. NBC News. White Lives Matter rallies flop as hardly anyone shows up. The poor turnout underscores how the country's unpopular and disorganized extremist movement have been driven underground. Okay, if it was so popular, why didn't more people show up? In a semi-private encrypted chats, neo-Nazis and other far-right extremists planned rallies in dozens of cities Sunday to promote their racist movements and spread their ideologies to larger audiences. Okay, let's keep reading. Hyped by organizers as events that would make the whole world tremble, the rallies ran into a major problem. Hardly anyone showed up. The White Lives Matter rallies, the first major real-war organized efforts by white supremacists since 2018, were planned on the encrypted app Telegram after many aligned groups were alleged to have taken part in the January 6 blah blah blah. Can't say that on YouTube. The poor showing underscores how the country's unpopular and disorganized extremist movement have been driven underground. Now here's the thing. Is it an unpopular extremist movement when you keep saying that it's the #1 threat to America, yet no one shows up to the rallies, and you yourself admit that it's unpopular? But let's go on. In Raleigh, North Carolina, a small crowd of Antifa and anti-racist protesters gathered at a park where the White Lives Matter march was planned. They marched around downtown behind a large white sign that read, "We accept your surrender." And that's when I realized that this author is an Antifa sympathizer, and she went on to say how great they are compared to the evil threat of white supremacy. The CNN fake newsification of all the news is quite appalling. So subscribe, because I don't lie, at least not to you. I hope you didn't lose any brain cells listening to me on this video. I know I think I lost a couple because I'm feeling a little bit dizzy, but I felt like I had to show you guys this. And what do you think about the people who think they lose something of themselves when they don't get to express to others? Do you think that's something they maybe should get checked out? Comment down below. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, share. Thank you for watching. See you next time.